God bless everybody. I I want to go ahead and share a little bit about um, my life and what God has done and the supernatural things that have happened. Um, I've been feeling the need to share because I think it is important that we know that God has done things in the past, as is written in the Bible, but He continues to do things today in the present. And that's very important to know because that means then that God is real. And so I just want to share things that um, have happened in my life. Um, if you know me uh, and you witnessed some of these things, right? You know they're real. You know they're true. If you don't really know my life, if you don't really know me, um, then you have a choice to make. You could either believe this as something true, or this guy's just making all this up. For what purpose, right? And there really wouldn't be a purpose for me just to make it up. What do I gain from making things up? Um, but rather, you really just taking it in, thinking about it, and then making up your own decision as to whether it is true that these events happened or not. These events happened in my life, so they are true, they are real events that happened in my life. And for me personally, it just enforces um, and strengthens my belief, my relationship with God. And so I hope that through what I'm about to say can also help you see that God is still alive and is active in these days. When I was born, right from the get-go, my mom says that I was born with the umbilical cord around my neck, not being able to breathe, coming out this purplish color. Um, but I was fine. I was fine. About 22 months later, uh, it isn't clear. It isn't clear, but my family decided to take a camping trip, and something happened at the camping trip where I probably touched and ingested something, put it in my mouth, um, and it started to make me ill. I got to the point where it was so bad that I had to go to the hospital. Um, my mother and father all have their own encounters with God during that time. Uh, so I was only told of these things. I really didn't know. I don't recall any of this. Although later on, uh, the story becomes even more real as I get older. But as I'm growing up, they were telling me this story that I ended up in the hospital, that I became ill, to the point where I got so bad that my heart stopped beating for 3 minutes. Um, there is no blood running into the brain anymore. And the chances of me coming back, and if I did come back, right, the chances of me being well were low. I should have been a vegetable, somebody that really didn't move, was just there. Um, and so these 3 minutes passed. I came back to life. The doctors really didn't know what was going on. Some of them thought it was pneumonia. Um, but thank God that one of these doctors, Dr. Rojas, um, he found out that I had pus in my right lung. And they punctured my side with a long, slender, thin tube, puncturing my lung and extracting the pus out of my lung. because I had been in the hospital for many weeks, I had lost the ability to walk. Remember, I was about to be 2 years old. So I lost the ability to walk. So I have to go through therapy, and the doctors told my mother that it was amazing that I was able to pick up walking so quickly. They're like, wow, this kid has picked it up so quickly. That's just amazing. And I think God has something to do with that. To this day, I still carry the scar on my right side, right under by my rib cage here, on my right side. I have that scar. As a child, I grew up listening to the Bible stories. I do remember making a conscious decision to accept God in my life, to turn my life over to Christ. And I remember feeling His presence as a young boy. As I prayed, I remember just feeling so happy to the point that I would cry. It was just an intense feeling for me. One day as I'm walking to school, I do remember this, I was about 5 years old. I'm walking to school, and on my way to school, at a corner there was a tree there, pretty large tree. And as I'm walking toward it with my mom, my brother, and my sister, I remember that I saw something standing there. And there I saw, and I recognized as an angel. It had the shape of a man, a tall man. There was a bright white light emitting from him, but it did not hurt my eyes. I don't recall how many wings he had, but they were wrapped around him. And he stood there, and it blocked that section of the tree that he was standing in front of. He blocked it. Like I could not see that part of the tree because he was standing in front of it. And I remember feeling a peace. And I told my family, hey, look. They couldn't see it. And I remember it very, very vividly that's what I saw. And it just made me feel good inside, and it felt like, yeah, God's watching over me. And as I turned the corner and I looked back, he was gone. He was gone. After the whole hospitalization, as I was getting older, I had problems. I had respiratory problems. I had asthma. I couldn't run. I couldn't laugh a lot. I could not go outside in a nice, cool night without a sweater. I had to be wearing a sweater. When I did get these asthma attacks, my body would shake because I was trying to get in air and my body was shaking. Every single day I prayed to God and nothing happened. Nothing happened. At the age of 11, this is from the age of almost 2 years old, and now I'm at 11. I remember I'm at my house and I get an asthma attack. As I get this asthma attack, I'm trying to get in air and I can't get any air, and my family is watching me not being able to do anything, and I felt like this was it. I'm about to die in front of my family. My family's going to remember this image of me gasping for air, and that's the last thing they're going to see. My mother, in an act of desperation, just takes me outside. Maybe if there was some air flowing, I can start breathing. And it was not that I was outside, but rather just my body ends up taking in air again. We had a big scare. I started to breathe again. They take me to the hospital where they issue me this inhaler, right? If you have asthma, it's a little thing you put in a little case in there, and you take in this puff of air, and it opens up your tubes inside, and you're able to breathe. During those years, we couldn't afford much. We didn't have a lot, and so one of these days, my siblings and I wanted fruit. My mom tells us that we should kneel down and pray, which we do. We knelt down and we prayed to God. God, we want some fruit. We've got none. Amen. When we finished praying that prayer, we got up on our knees immediately. Somebody knocks at our door. My mother went to go check, see who it was, and it was our neighbor. It was our neighbor. She was at our door. She had a big basket full of fruit. I thought to myself, wow, God does know ahead of time. Even before you ask, He already knows what you're going to ask. Working in somebody else's life to bring us fruit. God had acted very quickly here in this case. The asthma was still there, right? I keep getting older. We went camping for a few days out to Santa Barbara. And Santa Barbara, we hadn't really gone camping through the week, but we did. And so one of these days on a Wednesday, the ranger of the park was going to have a presentation showing the pictures of animals and trees that are in the park. The sun is going down. They're able to project their pictures better when the sun's going down, and so the sun was going down, and it began. They start to talk about the animals and the trees that exist there in the park. My brother was sitting next to me, and he taps my shoulder. I look at him, but he's not really looking at me. His gaze is somewhere else. I look toward where he's looking. And as I look out, I remember seeing a woman dressed in a white gown. And she's coming out of the woods at a distance. And she's not walking. She's not walking. This woman is hovering, and she comes out just like a semicircle and goes back into the woods. I remember feeling chills. My body, feels the chills, and I got scared. The other side of me, though, the spiritual side, is recognizing this as something not good. It didn't feel peaceful. And so I had seen the things of God like an angel, and now I'm seeing something different, something that doesn't feel good. And I was able to then see that there are two sides to the spiritual world. You have God, you have Satan. You have heaven, you have hell. You have angels, we have demons. And there's these two sides that the Bible talked about, and it became something real because it wasn't just words on a page anymore. It was something that I had witnessed myself with my very eyes, my very own eyes. I had seen it. From the age of 12 to the age of 17, I came to a point in my life where I just decided to, I just didn't really want to be so involved with God anymore, with the church anymore. I just wanted to cruise along. And so at the age of 12, I pretty much told God, you know what, God, I just need a little bit of space. I'm not gonna totally go away from you, because I know that Satan exists and he's real and he's out there, but I don't want to go over there to the dark side. I just gonna cruise on by. I'm not gonna really, totally be with you, but I'm not gonna leave either. I'm just gonna be somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the middle. And that's what I decided to do. And I was like that for a very good, part of my life. During that same time, I remember that there was a group of missionaries that came, young people that came over to our church, and they needed a place to stay. A couple of people took in a few. My parents decided to take a few in, and so they had planned to bring in some food, and so they had ordered some chicken from a store, from a market, and we were going to eat that Sunday afternoon. These young people were going to stay over at our house to sleep, to take a shower, whatever they needed, and so we were going to have a nice meal after the Sunday service. That Sunday afternoon, they went to go pick up the chicken. We took it home. The young people were there at the house. And also, there were some other members of the church that had also come over to visit. A good amount of them just wanted to come over, hang out, talk with the missionaries, and we didn't have enough food for everybody. I knew this. And so my mother and my father start serving the plates, and they start to hand them out. People start eating. They want a little bit more. They go to my mom. My mom serves them more and more and more. And I was like, wait, where is this chicken coming out from? We don't have enough to feed everybody. That day I witnessed something incredible. Something that I had read in the Bible about the multiplication, like that event of the fish and the bread. And this was happening in my house. And I was a witness to it. I was completely blown away. From the age of 12 to the age of 17, those 5 years, I had decided that I was just going to cruise on by. 5 years of my life wasted. I'm going to say that. I wasted my time doing nothing. When I got to be 17, I decided, what am I doing? I need to go back. I need to go back and talk. And just talk to God and tell Him I need to come back to Him. I'm done. I'm done just cruising. I need to choose a side. I need to choose. Am I with Him or am I not with Him? And so during that time, I kept praying for God to heal me as well. God, heal me. I wanted to go back to God, and I'm asking God to heal me also. And as I'm praying in the altar at church, God, just take this asthma away from me. Right? I'm already 17 years old at this time. God, take this asthma away from me. Nobody ever laid a hand on me. Nobody was praying for me. It was just myself praying to God. When all of a sudden, I felt something that I can only describe as warm honey. If you let honey go down, right? It goes down slowly, just warm, like this warm honey, right? That goes in through my head all the way down to the bottom of my feet. I felt it. I felt it. And I said, what? What just happened? As we drive back home and my dad stops the car, I get off the car. Remember, I couldn't go off outside in a cool night without a sweater. This was a Friday night. And I went outside and I take off my sweater. If I stand here, I might get an asthma attack. And so I stood there. And nothing happened. Maybe if I run a little, the asthma will start again. I had to check, I had to make sure that what I felt was my answer to what I had been asking God for so long. God, heal me. God, heal me. God, heal me. And I ran a few laps. My mom's telling me, what are you doing? I didn't answer her because I was so into what I was doing. Nothing. No asthma attack. I tested it out. No asthma attack. I said, forgive me, God. I just had to test it out. I just had to test it. I had to know if that was you. And from that day on, I have no more asthma. God healed me. There are a lot of witnesses that know me from my childhood that know that I had asthma and I don't have it anymore. I don't use an inhaler. I can be outside. I can laugh all I want. And nothing happens anymore. No asthma attack. God had his timing for that. At a youth camp, and when I'm 17 here, I went to that youth camp and I was asking God there, you know what, God, it's time for me to come back. I want to be in 100%. Don't want to mess around anymore. I just want to give my life 100% to you once again. I choose my side and it's going to be with you. Please, God, take me back. If you take me back, I want to feel your presence like I did when I was a child. And I know that you have taken me back and you have forgiven me. That's what I ask God. And immediately I start to feel the same feeling that I had when I was a child. And I just start to cry because I knew that God takes us back. And he did. He took me back. On Saturday, Brother Jorge Fernandez, who was speaking that night, came to me and said, God has a gift for you. And I said, what? I've been acting up. I've been messing around, just like cruising, like not really wanting to be with him. And how is it possible that he has a gift for me? But God did. God had a gift for me. I said, I'm not going to do anything to go out of my way to make it happen. And whatever happens, happens. And so I start to write music. With a little bit of guitar that I knew how to play, I start to write out of my last semester of high school. And I play music along with my brother, along with Jose and Danny. We start playing Jesus Clan music. Those of you that know Jesus Clan. And Jesus Clan was formed. We played different places. And I remember this one time at a tour that we were on, the Extreme Tour out in Bakersfield. And we got there late and we weren't even going to play anymore. They told us, you guys are here late. You guys can go home or you guys can just hang around. And we did. We just hung around. Might as well. We're already here. We made the drive. We got there late here in California. And at the end they told us, you know what? There's one spot left. You guys can take it. Yeah, we'll take it. And I look out. The people are going nuts. And with the music, they're all crazy. Crazy. I knelt down at a torn up sofa, a couch that they had there, and I'm praying, and the words worship come across my mind. And I said, what does that mean? Right? And I pray again, and I see that word again, worship. A third time, worship. And I said, you know what, guys? I think we're gonna change it up here. We're gonna play worship. And we did. We ended up playing worship songs. By the end of it, those people that were going crazy end up on their knees, crying. It's something that the people needed, a healing that the people needed at the moment. And I was like, wow, God knew what He was trying to tell me. God knew what He was telling me. God knew what He was telling me. As time passes by, I start dating. And I'm dating my now wife. And we are walking in a mall. And all of a sudden I see these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle t-shirts in a Hot Topic. I said, hey, I want to go see those shirts. Just the designs. You know, I grew up with TMNT, and so I wanted to go see them. As we start to walk into the door, she and I stop, and we look at each other, and we say, are you feeling what I'm feeling? And I said, I think so. She backs up. Later on, she tells me that she felt a hand that just kind of pressed up on her and stopped her from going in. I did not feel a hand stopping me on my chest. I felt a hand with 5 fingers like this, like a hand, that reached into my chest and grabbed a hold of my heart and squeezed it a bit. And I stopped myself. And as I said to myself, what is this? I think I'm going to take a few steps in more and see what happens. I took in a few steps in to the store. And that grip on my heart, my physical heart, a grip on my physical heart became tighter. And I said, something's telling me here that I should not go in. And I stepped outside. This is my experience. This is my experience. And I stepped outside. As if God was telling me, your heart is mine. Don't go in there. I went to the university. And I took all my classes, required classes. I have one more class to go, and I said to myself, oh, I'm going to go to school just for one class. Oh, I know. Maybe I should take some sports classes. I really didn't do sports because I had asthma, so I really did not do that as a kid. And now as an adult, I wanted to experience what it was to play sports. So I signed up for different sports. I signed up for tennis, golf, basketball, and weightlifting. Taekwondo also. And in weightlifting class, I'm there bench pressing. And all of a sudden, you know, as I'm doing just one more, I hear something crack within my chest. What is that? As I take a deep breath, I feel the crack. Every time I take a deep breath, crack, crack, crack. I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't like going to the hospital. I said, I don't want to go to the hospital. On a Friday night at church, I'm sitting there and the service ends. And they asked me, hey, would you like to participate next Friday? And I said, yeah, you know what? Yeah, sign me up. In my head, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to tell God to heal me. And in 1 week, I will be giving my testimony of how God healed me from this. Came Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know what, God? We still have you still have a few days. You still have a few days, God. You still have a few days to do something. You still have a few days. Thursday came. Friday comes along. Right? I'm not healed. Oh my. I go to church that night. I'm sitting down. God, crack, right? You haven't healed me. Am I gonna go up there and be a liar and at the same time just put you on the spot and what's gonna happen? I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I don't know. I don't want to do that to God, but I already signed up. They called my name to go up there and participate, right? The participation. So I go up there and I take the mic in my hand. God bless everybody. I want to share something that happened. And I started to tell them what happened. I went to the weightlifting class. I did one too many. It cracked. But you know what, everybody? God healed me. God is good and He healed me. Thank you, everybody. As I'm going down to take my seat, I've lied. I sit down and I take a deep breath. And as I take a deep breath, as I was speaking, I didn't feel anything, but as I was speaking, God had healed me. For when I went to go sit down, there was nothing there anymore. I told God after that, you know what, God, I won't do that to you again. I won't do that to you again. But it's something, again, my experience, something that happened to me. I was ready for my first job. As I'm ready for my first job, I got to take the TB test and all that stuff. They take the x-rays of my lungs. I'm waiting for the results. And this was in downtown LA. And the doctor tells me, hey, excuse me, can I ask you a question? Sure. Do you have any breathing problems? Breathing problems? No. I don't have any more breathing problems. I used to. I had asthma, but not anymore. God healed me. He's like, I ask you because did you ever get something stuck in you? Something just, you know what? I did. When I was going to be 2 years old, the doctors extracted some pus. He's like, I want you to come and take a look at your x-ray. Boom, he puts that thing up on that bright light. I look at it. My right lung is shorter. They're not symmetrical anymore. From the corner at the bottom is shorter than my left lung. He's like, this is why I'm asking you if you have any breathing problems, because your lung is shorter than the other one. The story that my parents had told me was real. Now I see the physical evidence here of my lungs, and it's real. Wow. I thank God. I praise God there instantly. And that was that. Wow. Time passes by. I'm getting older. And I'm sitting in my kitchen when all of a sudden my kitchen disappears. I start to have a vision. I'm not asleep. I'm awake. I'm sitting right here in the same spot where I'm talking to you now. And everything disappears in my kitchen and I'm in a field. I'm in a field and I see somebody firing in my direction. Somebody's shooting at me and I could just see my hands and I'm like, whoa, I have a weapon here. I guess I should shoot back. I look to my left and my right and I have a few people next to me. By this time I'm serving God already and I said, what's going on? There's just a few people here. Well, I hear a voice that tells me, look back. I look back. As I look back, I see people on the ground. They're dragging themselves. They've been hit. I start to understand what's happening. The enemy is firing at us. The enemy, Satan, is firing at us. He wants to knock us down. People that are following Christ, Satan wants to knock us down. And so he's firing at us. These people have been hurt. They've been injured by Satan. We start to grab a person and try to pull them and keep moving forward. The voice tells me, look even further back. As I look even further back, I see motionless bodies, dead bodies. Satan has taken lives of many believers. Satan has taken the lives of many believers. Boom, I come back to my kitchen. God has shown me that He's real. In 2012, I asked God, I want to know what it is to actually trust you. I want to trust you. I end up without a job. For 1 whole year, I don't have a job. Nobody wants to hire, not even in a warehouse. But I told God I wanted to learn how to trust, that I wanted to trust Him. What it was like to really trust Him. So I'm out of a job for a whole year. But God sends people my way. God sent many different people my way to help me out with clothes for my children. Or for my child. There was my oldest, who was born in 2011. And people giving me money. And I see the hand of God move in that way. And then I get an interview. I go to the interview. They say there's 3 rounds to this. 3 rounds. You first have to pass round 1, which is the initial interview. Okay. I passed it. They call me back. Come back for round 2. I go back. Round 2. I need to have an interview with the rest of the teachers that are there. I have it. I'm interviewing for a job in Long Beach. And I passed. Congratulations. Come back for round 3, which is teaching a lesson. I go back for round 3. I teach a lesson. I go home, wait for a phone call. I got to get this job. God, I know what it's like to trust you now. I got to get a job now. And so they call me back. They call me back. And I said, this is about the job. Yes. We just want to let you know that you did not get the job. I put my head down. I'm like, God, you know I needed this. This was the only shot I had. But then Stephanie Lee tells me, there's a TA position if you want it. Sure, I'll take it. I took it. A month later, the teacher that I'm working with tells me, you know what? I'm not gonna be here anymore. They end up offering me the job, so I told the kids, hey kids, you know what? I'm no longer gonna be your TA. Now I am your teacher. God moves in the heart of people. God moves in the heart of people. And now, that was in 2013. And 2013, my youngest son is also born.